Hello and good afternoon, Xbox Nation. Welcome to today's powerful episode of Xbox One-on-One, the new series added to the Double Barrel Gaming Network. And yes, this is going to be an ongoing series. It was originally launched as let's test the waters and see what the community likes and doesn't like. And it turns out that you guys actually like this show. And you know what? I'm happy for it. Obviously, Zemi Games is happy for it. And we have a guest today. But before we get into the incredible topics, and we have a lot to get to. Actually, we got some more breaking news today that is not on the AAA level, but still relevant to the question of, did Microsoft buy Square Enix? Because I don't know, folks. I'm starting to wonder. I'm starting to get those butterflies in my stomach that we might have a Bethesda level excitement announcement coming soon. And we have some reason. Again, clues. It's nothing confirmed. So don't go and, on Reddit and say Boomstick, who knows nothing, says that they bought Square Enix. It's just a theory. It's just a thought. It's just a feeling. But let's get into the introductions. And of course, leading up the pack is the cog that keeps these shows running each and every week. You know him as the bravest gamer this side of Texas. Please welcome Zemi Games.
What's up, man? And I think it's also safe to say it's just a hope. It's just a hope for this.
It's a hope. Yes.
It's a hope. But yeah, no, man, dude, I'm super excited to be here. I am a little sleepy. I think I woke up after having like 4 or 5 hours of sleep. I was busy.
Why don't you tell the people why you're tired? Tell the Xbox gamers what you've been up to.
I don't think I should tell the Xbox gamers.
I think you should. I think you shouldn't lie to our audience. That's what I say.
Boom. Do you remember? It was probably about a year ago that I started playing a lot of games on PC, and I sent you a message, and I was like, "Dude, I feel so bad. I feel like I'm betraying the Xbox. Like that I love so much."
It's funny you say that.
It's funny. And so I actually kind of feel the same way because I just got a PS5, and I've been wanting one since release, and I unfortunately wasn't able to pre-order one. But I was able to get my hands on it, and I've just been playing a ton of PS3 games that I missed out on during that generation. And just last night, I had to beat through Beyond Two Souls, and my God, it's still a great game today. But yeah, that's just basically I've been a traitor to Phil Spencer. He's gonna send me a letter in the mail, and
I think Todd Howard might come over to your house and take.
I might not even get my Christmas present now.
Well, listen, we're happy to have you. I'm glad you got a PlayStation 5. It is a great console that has some pretty good games, especially someone like yourself who missed out on a lot of their big AAA titles that are in PlayStation Plus. But of course, this is an Xbox show. We're going to continue with the introductions. Pong Sol, the rookie sensation of the industry, welcome.
Good morning, Boom. Another day and another Boom show. Here I am, everybody. Thanks for the invite, Boom. I feel like I've been on your show so much lately. I'm just a regular now. So this is becoming just a normal everyday thing for me. So I'm happy to be here. We got a lot to talk about, and like you said, Boom, I'm on your side of the fence. Square Enix, come on over. The grass is green on the Xbox side. Let's do this.
Emerald green, as if I may say so myself.
You may.
Folks, we're going to open up with a little bit of fun, if you will. Hashtag fun, as we wait for the people to file in. Hopefully we can have some record numbers here. Hopefully if you're new, you're enjoying the banter already, and you said, you know what? That Boomstick Cat has a deep New York voice, and I love hearing it, so I'm going to subscribe to his channel. Hopefully you are doing that, and if you're already subscribed, folks, do Boomstick a favor. I work real hard on these shows, and the algorithm that's up, that the smaller channels are up against, is not to be believed. It is a tsunami of incredible talent on YouTube, and there's a lot of content. And quite frankly, the only way we get dumped into this algorithm of success is from stuff like the like button. And if you're here and you're enjoying the weekly content, and mind you, this week there's going to be five live shows in 4 days. Folks, it's madness. But you know what? I love you guys. I love gaming, and why not talk about it? So hit the like button and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. But let's open up with some fun, folks. Listen, for whatever reason it may be, It's funny because Everborn Saga, good friend of the show, panel member on the Primetime Gaming, and an incredible artist with the Everborn Saga, said that he thinks that I have some sort of connection with Microsoft because I do my show Primetime Gaming on Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which we did last night. And we had almost 750 people in the chat, and it was a powerful episode. But he made the assumption, or the connection, if you will, that they keep dropping these crazy Mondays from Microsoft. And I politely, said that, no, I didn't talk to Phil yesterday, that, I didn't know this was coming. And, I haven't talked to Phil at all, to be honest with you, but hopefully one day I'll change that. But yeah, another Monday, folks. We're just going to break down what exactly happened. If you missed it, maybe people fell asleep like Zemi and missed all of Monday. So this is what happened. And this all happened by 9 a.m. Pacific time, which is bananas, which would have been 12 p.m. our time here on the East Coast, Best Coast. You had the Outriders confirmation that it's coming to Xbox Game Pass day one, folks. That's a big deal. Now, whether you think it's a single A, double A, or triple A, I can't tell you. I think it's a triple A game. I think the game is going to do gangbuster numbers on Xbox Game Pass. I think it's going to live well on Xbox Live because of Game Pass and because this is a community that likes playing online. It's something that has been at the forefront of what has made Xbox successful. You had the 5 Bethesda titles, 5 of the biggest Bethesda titles, mind you, get the free FPS boost, bringing them from 30 to 60 FPS, literally changing the game. You had the Outer Worlds be brought up to 60 FPS and get the final expansion. You also had the Doom Eternal Ancient Gods 2 teaser, which looked bananas. And of course, we had confirmation that Undertale, the indie darling that I think that even Zemi is going to probably try. And Zemi, this is for you specifically, Empire of Sin. It's a mobster Gears tactics type of game in Game Pass today. That's right up your alley. I think you're going to literally put down your PlayStation 5, and you absolutely should. And last but not least, the cherry on top of this banana sundae was the great Xbox wireless headset reviews that one particular entity, and we're going to talk about that. Well, what some of the gaming media is saying, called it a mic drop moment for Xbox accessories. Panel, Zemi, I'll go to you first on this. How could Microsoft continue to how could they top this, and can they continue this bananas Monday?
It's definitely a really good Monday, right? I don't know how much of this was planned, versus how much of it was just, kind of just fell in their lap very, very conveniently. I mean, of course, their Bethesda release of news and the Outer Worlds and the Doom and all of that, of course, was planned. Now, were these excellent reviews planned? Probably not. But it for sure is a very, very news-packed Monday. And I think it's something that a lot in the Xbox community have kind of been wanting, right? We saw not Bethesda. Well, we did see Bethesda, but we saw PlayStation and Nintendo kind of both have their own like little mini shows, and neither of those shows were like super amazing or anything, like nothing E3.
They were roughly about average, potentially even slightly under. Yeah,
sure. But we had a lot of people in the Xbox, community and ecosystem kind of clamoring like, why don't we get news? And this definitely, probably isn't at the same level as, maybe even what Nintendo showed us, but it still is something, right? And it's great news to have. And it gives us gamers all that much more reason to jump back into Game Pass, and in the slow time of the season, early in the year is usually not super exciting for gaming. We don't usually see a lot of the heavy releases coming out until summer, and especially in fall, and so on and so forth. And we're also in that strange time where we don't really typically get a ton of news anyway, right? But this news is definitely exciting because it makes you want to jump into Game Pass and re-experience those Bethesda games. A lot of people have played many of those Bethesda games probably on launch or just a few months after, right? And so them coming to Game Pass may not excite them, but once you up those frames per second, it gets them excited. A lot of people have already played the Outer Worlds. But once you add that new DLC, it gets people excited and they jump back into Game Pass. So this news, it's exactly that. It's exciting and it makes gamers want to jump back into Game Pass if they didn't already want to, and replay and re-experience these older games that came out several years ago or just a couple of years ago, like the Outer Worlds and Doom Eternal. And these expansions, I think, are absolutely fantastic. I'm not a huge Doom fan. I can hear the boos in the chat, but nonetheless, that's exciting news. I am a huge Outer Worlds fan, and now I'm thinking to myself, how do I find the time to jump back into that game and experience it at 60 frames per second, and then also not only play this final expansion, but play the one that came out before as well, because I haven't played that. And with the headset, aren't we going to be going a little bit further in detail for the headsets?
Yes,
later on
we know. So, again, it was basically just a list of what happened on Monday to kind of wait for the people to file in and just talk about the excitement. Yeah, I mean, again, that's a packed bunch of news.
Yeah. So I'll just cut it at that. But this is definitely what I would say is the second appetizer that Xbox is giving us before E3.
Yeah, you know what? Well, we're going to be talking about what's happening at the end of the month and what we expect that to be. But Ponsole, here's the thing. I like to look at more than just one win before I bet on a horse, right? You got to see success. You got to see succession that proves that they have the stuff, if you will. So let's kind of rewind time, Pong, and talk about what led up to Monday. And of course, today we have some, again, small news, but it's going to segue into a conversation wasn't even meant to be a topic, but we have to talk about it. And Thursday we get the incredible and unbelievable Bethesda Xbox roundtable. Right, we get a bunch of we get a chance to hear from Sarah Bond, who I think is a rising star. I think she is really what you're seeing with Sarah is the future of Xbox. I love her energy, I love her clarity, and I love the way she just brings you in. And of course, we got a chance to see Pete Hines. We got a chance to see Phil Spencer, Aaron Greenberg, and of course, Zemmy's Lord and Savior, Todd Howard. Todd always looking like Todd. That's a good looking man right there.
Praise be his name.
So listen, so we get that. And then at the end of the event, we get the goosebump inducing best piece of marketing I've ever seen in the Welcome Home trailer. I mean, my God, how incredible was that? And then Friday, what do we get? We don't get 5. We don't get 10. We don't get 15, folks. We get 20 Bethesda games into Xbox Game Pass for the price of nothing. And then, of course, the weekend, we're all chilling. We're all playing these games. A lot of people like myself who bought Prey, who played about maybe 2 hours into it, wanted to jump back into it, who bought the Dishonored Definitive Edition, beat the first one, didn't beat Definitive Edition, started that. I've started so many games in the last couple of days, I don't know what to do with myself, right? And then, of course, Monday, boom, 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 boom. It's like Emerald Lagasse. It's bam, 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 bam all over the place, right? And then, how can Microsoft continue to drive this momentum, Pong?
Well, they are off to a bombastic start, right? This is how you do it, and we kind of went through a slow period waiting for that ZeniMax deal to finally close. And again, I use the same terminology every time. It is the first domino. So now they have, let's see, we are already in March. So as crazy as it is to think about, they have basically 7 months to ramp up towards holiday. So they have a lot to get into this. We already know approximately of about 30 games or so that they have coming out this year, if everything lines up perfectly, plus some unannounced ones. So I think we are starting to see, now that the ZeniMax acquisition is over with, we are now seeing Microsoft push towards holiday 2021, which is going to be monumental for them. With the way that things are looking right now, as we talked about, Boom, we've talked about in other shows, we're talking about in the green room again. If everything lines up, holiday 2021 is going to be huge. They could have 3 AAA home run hitters in Forza Horizon 5, in Starfield, and in Halo, all lined up for this holiday. So what do you do prior to that? You start pushing the hype train along and get it up to full speed. And that's what we're starting to see at this point. Now, is every Monday going to be like this? No, it's not. But what you have to have is you have to have a Monday like we did yesterday. And then you have to have some events sprinkled in, right? Where I think we're going to have at least 1, maybe 2 events prior to E3. One of those events we're going to talk about in coming up in the show here. But I think that's what you do, is you start giving the proper spotlight to your smaller games, some of your third party and second party deals that you have going. Obviously, Game Pass is going to be a primary focus, but you start giving the proper spotlight to all these games you got coming. Then, around E3 time, you come out with, all the Bethesda content, and we know every E3 Bethesda has a large amount to show. And I think with last year, with what happened last year, some of the stuff getting pushed, some of it getting delayed. I think this year is a big comeback year for both Bethesda and Xbox, where they show some of the stuff that they've been working on. Now, again, we know that it may not be as far along as we thought it would be at this point, but I think there are some things that they need to start showing, because you get that hype for all of this coming together, holiday 2021, and even, some teasers for stuff we're going to probably see maybe spring next year. But they have such a large amount underneath their umbrella right now that it's important that they get some kind of pattern, some kind of system down, where they're giving us information on a semi-regular basis that keeps their name. And again, we've talked about this many times, Boom. They are reclaiming mind share. That's one of their big deals right now. They are reclaiming that. You saw it yesterday. What was happening? They were actually trending a couple different times on Twitter yesterday.
On all forms of social media. It's crazy. Yes.
You had Game Pass trending. You had Outriders trending. That means people.
The wireless headset was trending,
wireless
dude.
Headset was trending. Thank you for bringing that up. Absolutely. That's what you want. People talking about you. And that's something that Xbox has been missing, in previous years. Like, even their big announcements never really hit that mark because they were getting overshadowed by Nintendo or PlayStation at different points. And now what you see is the tables are turning. And now Microsoft has started to figure this thing out. They now have everything lined up that the way that they saw, again, the grand scheme, the grand plan. Again, you can call it playing chess, whatever you want to say, but the strategy is now lining up. And so now what you're seeing is them going, okay, here's what we're going to start doing. We're going to start dominating conversations, whether positive, or we got the haters out there talking about us. It does not matter. At the end of the day, people are going to be talking about us. And that's the plan going forward, leading up into these events, whether big or small events. You want people talking about it. Yesterday was just the start. I mean, obviously the ZeniMax acquisition was the real start, but yesterday was the start of the smaller stuff that we're going to see going forward. And unbelievable, today they follow it up with another Game Pass announcement out of the blue, and I don't know if you want to talk about it, Boom.
But we're gonna go. We're definitely gonna go into it. So by all means, lead us down the path.
Okay, so look, we already knew, like, a lot of the games coming out, with Outriders being announced, obviously, and confirmed yesterday. Huge deal to get that game in Game Pass. Huge. You cannot
you cannot undersell what that means to see a day and date AAA third party game. We can have discussions about how good the game is going to be, but at this moment in time, one of the biggest games to arrive in 2021 so far is hitting Game Pass day and date. Huge deal. And then we've got smaller titles, Empire of Sin, Undertale got announced yesterday, right? So you're seeing more and more of these games. And then this morning, like some stealthy ninja in the night, Major Nelson just puts up his usual coming to Game Pass, and they don't even highlight it. It's down on the bottom row. Octopath Traveler. Are you kidding me right now? This is a game by Square Enix, a classic style JRPG.
Yeah, you see that? Wait, let me stop you right there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you continue your point.
Yep.
You just said something important. What is it?
It is
JRPG.
JRPG from Square Enix,
which
right?
was, by the way, a game that got 9s, 9.5s, and 10s from the gaming media in Game Pass, dude.
Yes, in Game Pass, stealth drop. They had not, Square Enix, everybody has been because it was a Switch exclusive in 2018. I believe it went to PC in 2019, but it was a console exclusive. Then they did a deal with Stadia, and they were bringing it to Stadia. So everybody kind of assumed that the exclusivity was up. But Square Enix, unlike normal Square Enix, hasn't said anything about bringing it to any other consoles. Not even PlayStation have they really talked about this at all. People assumed, but there's really been no official news. And suddenly it's showing up on a Tuesday morning in a Major Nelson post about Game Pass saying that it's coming to Xbox day and date. Well, unbelievable. Like you alluded to, Boom. What is going on with Square Enix and Microsoft? Is this just part of Phil's inroads that he made by going to Japan all those times and cutting deals? Or is this something more? Have there been more talks behind the scenes? Are they getting friendlier finally? I mean, again, until Final Fantasy 14 comes or whatever, but are they finally loosening up Square Enix? And is Square Enix finally taking Game Pass seriously? Maybe the Sega success with Yakuza is loosening them up. Maybe they're finally seeing that there is something to be gained by dropping your games into Game Pass. But to have a game, like you said, that reviewed as well as it did, like Octopath Traveler from Square Enix, a classic style JRP drop into Game Pass, we'll call it day and date just because it hasn't been out on any other consoles other than the Switch. That is a surprise. That is a welcome surprise. And I couldn't be happier. And I hope this is a sign of more things to come down the road.
I want to continue with this because I'm looking right now at bestbuy.com. Octopath Traveler, a Switch game, is still $65.01 after tax. Okay, this is a 50 to 80 hour JRPG that is reminiscent of the classics like Chrono Trigger. And this is a $60 game in Game Pass with everything they just dropped, and we know is coming for the price of your $15 a month, folks. This is an incredible situation we're dealing with. I gotta tell you, and look, we've talked about this before. We don't expect people to throw their hands up in the air and go running to trade their PlayStation 5s in a GameStop. That's not going to happen. But I think that we are at a point in gaming that, with the world pandemic still raging, with monies being what they are because of the pandemic, because people are still working from home, or even in some places sheltering in place because of little outbreaks here and there. Gaming has become big. Gaming has become big, but Game Pass has become bigger because the overall value cannot be denied. And even the hardcore of hardcore PlayStation guys and gals can no longer sit on the sideline and deny what Microsoft is doing, and people are going to take notice, and they're going to start playing. And to see, this is Phil's unbelievable dream coming to fruition. And look, Sony, they're very set in their ways. I don't have to. I don't have to tell you how much I love their first party stuff. I say it all the time, and I'm not ashamed. It's one of the reason why I own a PlayStation, right? But with that said, when Sony gets an exclusive, they lock it behind a closed wall garden, and it's the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 5 only, right? Whereas if you are a PlayStation player and maybe you don't want to spend $500 on a box. Okay, I hear you. Maybe you don't want to spend $300 on the best value in gaming with the Series S. I hear you. Maybe you have a computer that's decent, half decent computer. You could go and get for $15 a month, currently 375 games, including what they just added. Do you understand? Do you hear the number I'm saying, folks? 375 games currently available on Xbox Game Pass. You know what that is? That's madness, is what that is. So here's my question to you, Zemi. With this edition of Octopath Traveler, at some point, we have to start bringing into the conversation that 1 + 1 is 2, at least in my book. I'm no mathematician, folks. But we have to start bringing into the conversation. I'm going to come back to you, Pong, because I want to hear your opinion on this. Square Enix has been rumored to have been the next big acquisition from Microsoft, among others, right? It's not just them. But we have to start wondering if there is anything to this. You know, you get all of these games in that deal they talked about in E3 where all of the Square stuff was coming to Xbox Game Pass, right? It's older stuff, sure. But then you start to kind of see things transpire. You get Outriders in Game Pass day one. It doesn't even make any sense how they're doing it, but they're doing it. Then today, the next day, Octopath Traveler, a game that, yes, it's old, but it still sells for $60. Again, another Square Enix game, stealth dropped into here. Can we even start to suggest that maybe Square Enix is the Bethesda level acquisition that could be announced at the end of the year, potentially in the early months of 2022? Or are we speculating too hard here?
I mean, of course you can say that. I mean, you know, everybody should have dreams, right? I really, truly feel that. However, I think that it is not 100% accurate to say that with confidence. And the reason I say that is for a couple of different reasons. One reason that I believe 3-Bit has said on multiple occasions is that Xbox has yet to acquire a publicly traded company, right?
That's true.
And Square Enix is a publicly traded company, right?
That's true. Yes.
But also, I don't think the inclusion of Square Enix published and developed games into Game Pass is a real indicator of an acquisition, right? I'm a huge grand strategy fan, and there's a company called Paradox Interactive, and they make games. I've
heard of them.
Crusader Kings, Europa Universalis, Imperator Rome, all of these amazing games. They've been putting their titles here recently into Xbox Game Pass for PC. Imperator Rome came to Game Pass day and date, right? Crusader Kings 3 came to Game Pass day and date. But there's not one person talking about how that company is going to be acquired by Xbox, right? And because it doesn't really make a ton of sense. I think the big reason why we're seeing these games go into Game Pass is because these developers and these publishers understand the power of reaching a larger and wider audience, right? And, you know, to me, that it just makes a lot of sense to do that, right? For instance, with Outriders, Outriders is at its base a looter shooter, right? Kind of similar to the Division, similar to Destiny, and those types of games really fuel and get even better with a larger community of active players. And how do you get that? Well, you throw it into a service like Game Pass, and there's your ticket, right? Octopath Traveler, it's still a game that a lot of people have on their radars, but it's also a relatively older game, and it is more of a niche game, I would say, as well, with its pixelated graphics, with it being a JRPG. That's not it's not the biggest genre of games, right? But you throw that into Game Pass, you're going to see a huge reaction to that. And I think a lot of this is Xbox is paying, probably out of their pockets to get these games in there. And like what you were saying prior with the whole value proposition to consumers, yes, Xbox has the value, right? If you are a gamer and if you don't have too much money in your pocketbooks right now, really, you should probably be thinking about picking up a Series S or what have you, or playing the games on xCloud on your smartphone or whatever option you want to choose. PC, that's perfectly fine as well, right? And getting access to these games, but putting in the Outriders, putting in Octopath Traveler, putting in all of these amazing titles, this is just a reminder to consumers that Xbox Game Pass is still a thing. It's still growing and it's still adding value. So if you're not into the service already, you should be. You should really be thinking about getting into it. And I think that that's really the main benefits from the developer and from Xbox of putting these games into Game Pass. And I don't think that there's really any indication that, we're going to see a Square Enix acquisition.
I mean, okay, I hear what you're saying, and it makes sense. But you know what? I'm a man who
with
comes
a hope and with a dream,
with a hope and a dream.
And
I walk into any restaurant, and my glass is always half full. It's never half empty. So I'm going to continue this. And before we do, I just want to throw a quick story out there. This breaks my heart, but also I cheer. I cheer for PlayStation because they're actually in the news in a positive way. And I understand it's an Xbox program, but if you remember Jade Raymond, she is an industry mover. She is a talent among talent. She was with Stadia. She left Stadia abruptly for obvious reasons. I said publicly 2 weeks ago that Microsoft should immediately reach out to this woman who is, again, an industry shaker. She's a talented, very, very important piece for the industry in itself. She has started her own development house, and I got to tell everyone, Sony brought the blank check to the conversation because she is making an exclusive game for the PlayStation 5. That is just confirmed on Twitter. I also got it. I saw it actually, Pong. Thank you for dropping it in there. I saw that right before you posted it, and I'm like, okay, now we have confirmation. This isn't even a suggestion; it's a reality, and that's a big get for Sony. That's the moves that they need to make if they want to counter what Xbox is doing. But let's get back to the Xbox conversation of Square Enix. Now, Pong, you, unlike the tightrope walking safe Zemi, I want to get your excited opinion about this because, listen, I'm not a coincidence kind of a guy. I'm more of a numbers guy. And 1 + 1 is 2. And when you say 2 games, now whether they're big to you or not is irrelevant. I think they're big to the conversation. We're not suggesting that the deal is done and that tomorrow when we wake up at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, there's going to be a Xbox Wire article that says, "We welcome Square Enix to the family," and everyone shits their pants, right? No, this is something that's probably in the works, and I believe it's going to happen. I don't know if it's Square Enix, but my God, to put those 2 titles back to back in there, full price titles, makes you wonder, am I on to something, or like Zemi, am I a lunatic?
Let's fuel your dreams and my dreams.
All right, and boo Zemi. Let's everyone boo
Zemi. Boo Zemi.
Boo! You're a fake. Get off
Zemi is a fraud Xbox lover,
and he's a pony.
Right. And he's a pony at this point now. We got to excommunicate him from
guys.
this family.
If you guys keep this up, I might just have to cry and go play my PS5.
You were going to do that anyway, Zemi. You were going to do that anyway.
Well,
no, he wasn't going to cry. He wasn't going to cry. All right, let's not make Zemi cry. He is
maybe
my
tears
brother.
of joy.
I'm going to get in trouble if I make Zemi cry. There's no doubt about it.
Nah, let's go down this road, Boom. So everybody loves to talk about the relationship that Square has with Sony. We know it well. The history is there. This is a long standing partnership. But at the end of the day, money talks and BS walks, okay? And right now, the biggest bank in town is Microsoft. So let's put it this way. If they were going to make a splash, right? And everybody knows that Phil wants in Japan and
Yeah,
the
he does.
Asian market
Yep.
badly. And whether you love or hate them, Square Enix is still one of the biggest names in that side of the world.
Indeed.
And they make some of the most beloved games. Obviously, the Final Fantasy franchise. We don't even need to talk about it because it just is known to be one of the most beloved franchises in the history of video games. And right now, Phil is and Xbox are obviously angling to wrap up to take care of some legendary IPs, hence the Bethesda purchase, right? They want to secure the rights to some of the biggest franchises in history, and Phil wants to protect the history of video games. And what better way to do it than to walk into Square Enix and say, we know you love Sony. We know that you've ignored us in some ways for a long time, but here's the deal. We've got a check for you that's blank, and you could fill it out, and we want to welcome you guys to the Xbox family. And we want to give you guys the power, the creative freedom to continue to do what you do. You've already seen us, and I'm speaking from Phil here. You've already seen us, go ahead and let all these developers do whatever they want to do, with total creative freedom. But you got the protection of Microsoft. You've got the bankroll of Microsoft behind you, and you guys can go nuts. Come on over, create all the Final Fantasies you want to. And at the end of the day, yeah, they could turn it down. Yeah, they could laugh them out of the room like Nintendo did when they tried to buy Nintendo. But at the end of the day, we know that developers right now, especially on that side of the world, there are some struggles right now, and they are having some issues, maintaining the stability that they want, and that's just kind of the reality of the world right now, right? And so, why wouldn't Square Enix have to seriously consider a deal like that from Phil and from Xbox and from Microsoft? Why would they not have to take a look at that and say, so you're going to let us come underneath your umbrella, you're going to take care of us, but you're going to let us have total creative freedom, you're going to let us run the ship the way that we've always been running it, and so our games are just exclusive to this great new thing called Game Pass that's blowing up all over the world that people are excited about. And that's the only real deal, is that our games may not show up on Sony, but you may allow us to create a couple small games that go over to Sony as well. And Nintendo, why would they not have to sit down and consider that thought? And I'm sure just from the way that Xbox and Microsoft are talking right now about they're not done acquiring, they're looking. We've heard all the rumors, Boom, like you've talked about many times. There's another deal out there that's, on par, if not bigger than Bethesda. Well, the Square Enix name doesn't get much bigger, right? Why not? Why not go down that road and at least have the conversations if they already are not currently conversating? And these couple, the Outriders and now Octopath Traveler, like I talked about when we're at the first part of the show, you could see a thawing of some of that freeze out that Square Enix has had with Microsoft. And where there's smoke, there's always a little bit of fire. And I think it's certainly possible that there are some talks going on. So let's fuel your dreams, Boom. Let's keep it alive, because nothing is off the table at this point. And I think that's the thing that people have to realize. Nothing, no matter how big you want to talk about it, whether it's Valve, whether it's whether it's Sega, whether it's Capcom, nothing is off the table. So why not Square Enix?
You know what? I agree. And again, obviously, this is just for fun conversation. Yeah. It's speculatory at best.
Absolutely.
And something we have heard from other insiders that the quote unquote Bethesda level acquisition is happening. I called it a month ago. I personally think that it's Valve. That's, Valve and Steam. That's just me. It makes sense for Microsoft as a business. They went into the PC market. That would be a monster deal. Gabe wants to retire. He wants to get out of the business. He wants to enjoy his money that he's made. And obviously he wants this to go to someone like a Microsoft that's going to tend to his baby. You're not going to see him sell it to Tencent. He's just not going to do that because he's loaded already. He just wants to make sure that the properties that he created are handled with care and respect. So, of course, Microsoft is the leader of that. Some people would have been like, oh, no, that's Google because of Stadia. They're dead. Amazon's, I even forgot the name of it. Whatever the Luna. Well, there you go. They're out of the conversation. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that they're just out of the conversation. So Microsoft is the one left holding the big bag of money, right? So you can say that. You can also suggest that it is Square Enix. Someone in the chat just said Capcom, please, and I say Capcom. I mean, my God, could you imagine? They have the best group of IPs in gaming, hands down. So who knows? But again, this was just for fun. Let me catch up with some of the super chats as we cross 500 people here in the chat. I want to say thank you so much for choosing to watch today's show. Hopefully you are getting a kick out of it. You're not taking too much of it serious. I know there's one particular guy, which of course I won't, saying that we don't understand financials. Dude, if you only knew the background with finances that I had, I think you'd change your mind. But that's okay. You're entitled to your opinion. Again, this is just talk. This is just fun talk. No one's confirming anything. No one's saying that it's happening tomorrow. This is just speculative, like I said. So just, sit back, enjoy the podcast, and have some fun with the community. By the way, this is the best chat in gaming. I listen to many, many shows, and I would dare say that my chat here is as equal to someone like Dealer Gaming. Right. And of course, we love what they do over at RDX. Right. I would dare say that this chat is probably a lot of the same people who watch the Xbox 2 podcast with two good friends of the show, Jez Cord and, of course, Randall Thor. So if you're new, enjoy, to hang out, make your opinion heard, and let's have some fun. But I do want to catch up on some of the super chats. East Texas Alex, a good friend of the show, he drops the first super chat of the day for $2 and says, hey, have a great show. Hit the like button, everyone. Thank you so much for that, Alex. Definitely appreciate it. RA89 drops a generous $2 super chat and says, next big hint, Final Fantasy RR in Game Pass soon. Hey, listen, they're talking about a Final Fantasy, what was it, 13 remaster trilogy? If that shows up into Game Pass and it's the remaster, wow, I'm going to say, you know what, maybe we're on to something with this. Andrew Cullion, another generous friend of the show, he drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says, I almost bought Empire of Sin on Steam yesterday. Glad I waited. Dude, that's awesome. That's good that you waited. Kirby Louise, a good friend of the show, he drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, let's keep improving Game Pass. Please consider sending Microsoft feedback to start supporting Win32 games on PC Game Pass and reduce its DRM. I have more details on my Twitter on how to give them feedback. Yeah, you know what? Kirby Louise on Twitter, not only is the kid a developer, smartest man in the room anytime he steps in, head over, give him a follow, and check out his work because he knows what he's talking about. He's been on the show several times. We also have Dan Lazaro. Hey, Dan, welcome back to the program. He drops an outstanding $2 super chat and says, with CD Projekt Red's troubles, are they on the table? For a lot of reasons, you can say yes, but see, Microsoft is not in the business of buying trouble. You know what I'm saying? And right now, they are dealing with lawsuits. They're dealing with contractual, shortcomings and all kinds of, they had all their data stolen. I got to be honest with you. Again, they seem like they're on the ropes. I think CD Projekt
sounds like Bethesda to me.
Well, you know what?
Having data stolen, lawsuits. I mean,
something? You might be onto something. Now we have to cheer Zemi. Now everyone give us a yay for Zemi in the chat for that. You're no longer being booed, sir.
Thank God. Thank God.
Well, let's move on to the next topic, folks. Let me just get back over here and look at these. Okay, so 44 minutes in, we're finally getting to topic number 1, which is pretty crazy. And I want to bring in start talking about the Xbox wireless headset that releases officially today. Hopefully I do get a Ring like Greg Miller used to back in the days before he had a studio. And again, I'm still in the apartment. I don't have a studio yet, but I'm following Greg Miller's guidelines to success, because what could you say about Greg Miller besides being a good dude? He is the hardest working man in gaming, and I love what they do over it. Kind of funny. But they released, and I say they, Microsoft released the Xbox wireless headset. Now, to be fair, and I think most people will admit this, some of their accessories have not been the best. Their last headset was less than average, I'll say that. But apparently, they did something right with the new wireless Bluetooth headset that only costs $100, and there are some in the industry that are saying it even rivals Sony's $100 PlayStation 5 headset, which I own, and I will tell you this right now, it's fucking incredible. Okay, so let's get to some of the what some of the industry bigs are saying. We'll start with Tech Radar. They say this: Microsoft's Xbox wireless headset is an exceptional gaming headset that's brimming with features and clever design decisions. It offers phenomenal audio performance for the price and can be completely customized to suit your listening preference. If you're after a pair of wireless headphones to go with your new Xbox Series X or Xbox Series S, the Xbox wireless headset should be on the top of your list. They gave it a 5-star review. Now, The Verge. Microsoft's Xbox wireless headset is a mic drop moment and the best budget-friendly headset for Xbox, and it cuts very few corners to get there. Games Radar says Microsoft's Xbox wireless headset, most gaming brands charge a lot more for the headset this good. It receives a 4.5 out of 5-star review with the highly recommended seal of approval. Then you have CNN, and this is the last one, so we get into it because there was about 30 of them. I can only talk so much on the air before you guys tune out. With the immersive gaming sound, a wonderfully comfortable design, and a reliable microphone, the $99 Xbox wireless headset would be an easy recommendation even without all of its extra features. But its ability to pair to your Xbox and phone at the same time really puts it over the edge, turning Microsoft's headset into a device that makes it easy to not only take calls or catch up on your podcasts while you grind out some Gears of War. I mean, listen, these are rave reviews, and this is not. Again, there was about 30 of them. Windows Central gave it a 4.5 out of. A 4.0 out of 5. That was reviewed by Jez Corden, and the list goes on and on. Zemi Games, listen, you have talked about the last Xbox headset not being so good. As a matter of fact, you even suggested that it really wasn't that good for the price. But this, $99, and it's getting 5-star reviews. It's getting seals of approval, highly recommended. It's getting 4.5 out of 5 stars from just about everybody. Are you in the market for a headset, and would you get this?
Yeah, so I'm not in the market for a headset right now. Whenever I got my Series X, I went out and I bought a newer Rig headset, and I really, really like that brand, that company. So I'm not in the market for a headset. But if I was in in that market, I would very, very much be looking at the new Xbox wireless headset. I'm also not a big fan of wireless products, right? Like I like my wireless controller, but I'm not super big into like a wireless headset, having to recharge it, all of that different stuff. It's just me. It's just my personal preference as a gamer. But with that being said, I would be highly more likely to purchase this headset if I was in the need than any of the previous Xbox headsets. Xbox headsets in the past just really did not impress me. It was something that I thought that, why are they even wasting their time? Third-party headsets just do it so much better, right? And whenever seeing this and seeing the feature set and hearing these positive reviews mentioning that, these features are there and they work really, really well, and then also remembering that this is a wireless headset for $100. It's very, it's very budget friendly. for most people. And it has all of these, features that you kind of expect to pay a lot more for. I can definitely see the value in it. And if anyone was interested in a wireless headset, I think that this, for a affordable price, I think that this might be the way to go, right? I'm for sure, as soon as I started hearing these reviews, it perked up my ears. Just for me though, personally, I'm not super big into wireless headsets, and I already went ahead and purchased a headset literally probably 3 months ago. So I'm not in the market, but I retract all of my negative statements from the podcast before, where I was very, very uncertain about this headset's ability.
But you know what? You had every right to think that because
Sure.
of what they released in the past. You shouldn't.
I'm going to retract it because this headset's actually good.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's a great point. And you know what? I mean, listen, the last one wasn't good. You had your doubts and they delivered. And I'm happy they delivered because I bought it and nobody wants to spend $100 on a crappy pair of headphones. Yeah. And more importantly, they take advantage of our busy lives, right? It connects to your phone at the same time as connecting to your freaking console. Hello. I mean, that's freaking awesome. Yeah. Dude, this is a big win for Microsoft.
That's also something really, really good for streamers as well, right? Being able to play your game on Xbox or whatever system it might. I don't know if it works with other consoles or whatever, but being able to play your games on Xbox and then have a sound in the background alerting you to whenever someone's chatting or sending you a chat or like a super chat or like a donation on Twitch. Having that come through your headset, that's another, feature. So potentially streamers might be interested in purchasing that headset because it is affordable and it would give them that functionality.
I mean, look, I agree 100% with you. Like I said, I'm happy to know that there is because again, listen, it's gaming. So there are hundreds, if not more than that, of headsets that are available from some of the biggest names. Turtle Beach one of being the big ones, but those get pricey. Those are up at $300, for a pair of headphones, and man, that's the cost of a console. So I mean, listen, if you're in the market like I was, then maybe this $100 investment is up your alley. And what I'm happy about is that both Sony and Xbox have first party accessories that don't clobber you over the head. I mean, we all already spent $500 on the box. It's nice to know that they are putting quality development into these headphones, and they're rivaling even the big $300 ones. And I cannot wait to get mine. I got my tracking number. I'm hoping that it shows up today. Pong Soul, let's get your opinion on this. Again, not the biggest topic of the day, but certainly one worthy of a conversation. What are your thoughts on all of these stellar reviews that this headset from Microsoft's first-party accessory team is getting?
I am patiently waiting for mine to arrive this week. So I don't know when they're going to be here, but man, I am happy that I took the leap of faith and obviously pre-ordered them the day that they were announced. So that I can get those in hand because I happen to be in the market at the time. For anybody who doesn't know, I am currently using the old one earpiece microphone from the Xbox One, which is
so
awful.
Am I.
So
isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is crazy. And nobody online when I'm playing with people can believe that I'm using that dang thing. But so I was more than excited when they announced it. It was a leap of faith due to the fact that, the last headset was not the best. And obviously, that was of some concern. But again, my decision went into the fact of where Microsoft is going, not where they've been. And with the quality build of the consoles and everything that they've been preaching about where, how they want to change, and actually put out high quality stuff, right? And what I saw from the Series X gave me confidence, so I went ahead and pre-ordered them. I'll add another review to your list there, Boom. ACG, who we were talking about in the green room, he put out his own review, and anybody who doesn't know who ACG is, I highly recommend you go check him out. Awesome channel, no BS. speaks straight from the gut, man. I mean, we're talking. He buys all the stuff that he reviews. So it is a no frills review on everything from games to accessories. And he came out and said that with all the features and the price point, this is a no brainer. So definitely love to hear these reviews. I can't wait to get them on and try it and see how it performs. Also, TXR podcast on Sunday night had a great interview with David Preen, the senior director of hardware at Xbox, with some really good insights into what it takes to come up with an accessory like this and what they were thinking about when they were putting this together. And I think the big thing is Microsoft hit the price point with features that you only see, as you talked about, Boom, and Zemi talked about, on more expensive headsets. And they put it together in a package that is appealing to everybody. And I think that's something that is key to this. And I think that's why you're seeing these things get sold out whenever they pop up. I know there was a couple more this morning. I saw Wario64 tweeted out that Amazon had some more in stock, and I think they're already sold out again. And I think Microsoft really hit that sweet spot of offering performance at a value price. And if they are going to live up to these reviews, then I am excited about my purchase, and I cannot wait to get them in my hands and try them out. Because I did have a set of Gen 1 A50s prior to this. They won't link to my Series X for whatever reasons. I've tried everything. So I'm hoping I'll be able to compare the quality levels of a Gen 1 A50 to this. But from all the reviews, I think they're going to live up to the hype. And I think this is the first of many successes that we could see from Microsoft. And I think this was a test run to see how these do. And we may see a premium elite type headset down the road. And then that would be something to look forward to for all the people that are looking for those high-end headphones down the road. I think that's going to be something that they may do.
Well, I know they're currently in development, and again, I don't have confirmation. This is just really me making the assumption that an Elite Controller Series 3 is probably in the works.
Yep.
I've owned 4 Elites in total. I had the Black Elite. I had the Gears of War. I still have them. I have the Gears of War Special Edition, which is worth a lot of money. I have the white one, and I also have an Elite Series 2. I would love to see what they do with the Series 3. I think that, it is, again, premium controller for the premium price, but I'm willing to pay it because I really do dig their controllers, and the fact that you can use it on your computer and eventually on your TV, then yeah, definitely sign me up for that. But I agree with you. We might actually see an even more premium. And again, I don't mind buying it or spending the money, if you will, if it's Microsoft making it, because they back their first party accessories, and if it's damaged, they will replace it. So definitely something we're going to keep an eye on for sure. But again, if you're in the market, this headset's getting fantastic reviews. I'll be talking about it live on the air. Pong will probably give us his opinion on it, and anyone else that gets it, especially if you're in the chat and you love it, hate it, or somewhere in the middle, throw your opinion out there. But I do want to move on to another. Again, this is a topic that came to mind after following, because I follow Clobriel. I think if you're an Xbox fan, you got to follow this dude. He doesn't consider himself a quote unquote insider, but the guy is, when it comes to Xbox stuff, man, he knows what he's talking about. And I definitely believe in what he has to say. And he had put out a picture that I used specifically as one of the pictures for the thumbnail. And it's of a stick-like device that he called the Xbox Series C. Now, obviously, it doesn't exist. But if you kind of put on your think caps and you go back a couple of years ago, before 2019, what we knew what the Xbox Series X looked like, before we knew that there was a confirmed Series S, we did hear, Pong, that they were working on 3 different types of consoles. One hardcore, one casual, and one stick-like device that they said it was gonna sell for what, $99 with a controller. Well, for today's, again, it's just a general conversation. So don't get, again, don't go to Reddit and say that Boom said that the Series C is coming out this fall, even though I believe it is. It's fun for a conversation, and it's worthy because Microsoft is looking to do something that they have always dreamed of doing. This is Phil's dream coming to fruition, and that means getting to gamers even if you're not a gamer. And a $99 Xbox Game Pass stick that comes with a wireless controller, I think, could crack more homes than you could possibly imagine, especially since they made that deal with both LG and Samsung, folks, the two biggest TV makers in the land. I mean, again, 1 and 1 equals 2 for me, but maybe not for you. So, Pong, this again is a made-up topic, but where do you fall on Microsoft releasing an Amazon-esque stick that's directly in conjunction with Xbox Game Pass for $100? Now, again, maybe they say that it's $100 and it's at $15 a month. They let you know right up front, or maybe they give you 3 months of Xbox Game Pass once you buy it, and you just have to pay for the service like every other service. Do you think that would be successful?
Yeah, I think it's inevitable at this point. I think we've already seen the deals that they're going to bring the app to TVs in the future, right? So, they've got a deal with Samsung and LG. I think it's inevitable that as we move forward, they're replacing the server blades as we speak, and they're upgrading those. So I think xCloud and obviously the Game Pass platform is the future of Xbox. So I think it's inevitable that we're going to see a streaming type stick that will cover the people that may not have a newer TV that accepts apps or whatever the case may be. So I think this is something that has definitely probably been in the works. I think it's part of their long-term plans. I could definitely get on board with what you're saying, Boom, come holiday 2021 fall time when we start seeing the apps, or supposed to start seeing the apps hit these TVs. I think it would, in conjunction with that, it could certainly possibly be. They might wait a little longer, obviously depending upon testing. And I'm sure they're going to want to make sure that it's the right time. They don't want the stick to come out and then get lost. Sony tried this with their TV style little add-on that they had, and I think they want to make sure that the market is right for the stick to come out and be successful, and not just sit on the shelves. But I think your price point is right. I think we had started talking about this actually last year. I think before the Series X, when there was rumors that there was 3 possible different I don't want to say consoles, but three different products that were going to come out along with the Series console. And I think that $99 price point, maybe even a little bit less, maybe $89, because we know sticks are pretty cheap. Just to crack the market would be the right price point along with a controller. And like you said, packing in some Game Pass along with it to introduce people to it. Absolutely. And again, marketing is going to have to be right. You're going to have to, obviously confirm up front that the stick is, you have to subscribe as well to Game Pass, and people are going to have to understand that concept, which I think, obviously with Amazon and all these other companies coming out with sticks kind of have paved the way for this. But I definitely could see this, Boom. I think it's the next step, that they're going to want to introduce more and more households to Game Pass and allow people to experience the incredible value that they're putting out there. And I think if everything falls right, and this holiday 2021 is as big as we think it is, and that the Xbox hype train is at full speed at that point, and they've grabbed that mind share that we talked about, and everybody is kind of talking about Xbox and what they're doing to introduce this style, this new accessory, if you want to call it, whatever you want to call it, would be an awesome boon for them. And I think it would definitely push it into more households and get more people into this ecosystem as they go forward. So absolutely, I'm on board. Boom. I'm on board.
When you look at what we have to go based on the cards that are on the table, right? Again, I'm not a big card player or anything. I did when I was a kid, but you have to look at what Microsoft is looking to, how they're looking to, move their pieces on the board. Let's even take it like with chess, for instance. Obviously, the console market, they're not dominating the console market. They're still in third place, for Christ's sake, right? But they're slowly but surely moving there into what? Into the conversation. They're constantly doing things like what we saw happen on Thursday, what happened on Friday, what happened on Monday, what happened today. Little things, all of these little things equal one big, party bus. And now you say, well, what are their overall or overarching goal? And that is to get to the 3 billion gamers that are around the world. Now, are they going to reach everyone? Of course not. But they're certainly going out of their way to try. And they're trying in regions that they failed notoriously. In Japan, in Korea, right? And they've seen great success with xCloud. Right, they've made these deals with the TV manufacturers to get that app on every TV. I can guarantee you they're paying big bucks to get that app on the front spot of when you buy that TV. Xbox Game Pass, app included in the TV. And they may even, like, if you go like to a Costco or to a PC Richard, sometimes they have like these back end deals. Oh, you buy the TV and you get a year of Game Pass. And, oh, there's the app. You know what I'm saying? That they have all these kinds of deals. And now, besides Game Pass on PC, if they could somehow incorporate a $99 Xbox device that gives you a wireless controller that plugs directly into whatever TV that you have, and it gives you access to play via the cloud all of these 375 games that are currently in Xbox Game Pass, they are going to reach more gamers than any of the big three. Like, they're doing things that Nintendo is not doing. Sure, Nintendo is leading the charge with the Switch. Everyone wants one. It's a great console, great games, but they're not doing the same thing. Sony, we don't know what Sony's going to do. They're very traditional. We heard from Jim Ryan that they were going to do something this year with PS Now and PlayStation Plus. I believe they're going to merge them probably for $60 a year, and maybe we'll start seeing some more bigger games day and date in there. Whether they stay or not, I don't know. I mean, Destruction All-Stars was in for a month and then left, and you had to buy it if you wanted to play for $20, and that fell flat, right? So this is a big deal. We don't know if it's going to come to fruition, but it was certainly worthy of a small conversation. And I want to get on to the big topic of the show. And this one, I think, we're going to have some big opinions. Folks, we have 550 people here. If you are new, I want to say once again, please consider subscribing to Double Barrel Gaming. We do a lot of great work here, at least 4 live shows per week. And of course, if you are already subscribed, help a brother out. Put this out there on social media. Say, hey, Boom's doing his live stream, because I do all the advertising myself, and you see me on Twitter. It's obscene. By the way, I have 105,000 tweets. Is that not absurd? It is. But when you run your own little channel, you gotta be aggressive in getting the word out. So yeah, 105,000 tweets for Boom, and I've only been a part of Twitter since 2014. That is obscene. But let's get to the last topic of the show. Now, look, this is a rumor. Almost, you know what? Let me not even say a rumor. It's basically confirmed. We have confirmation from 2 sources, one of which is Paul Thurrott of Thurrott.com. And that is, they're a Microsoft site, right? They know the ins and outs of Microsoft. And now we have word from Jez Corden, Windows Central's own Jez Corden, that it appears that something is happening, and it could be really big. A few days ago, a noted Microsoft expert, Paul Thurrott, tweeted that Microsoft is planning a series of events in the near future revolving around Xbox and Windows, more specifically, Xbox First Party. And with a gaming show slated for March 23rd originally, it was recently found out that they moved that date to Friday, March 26th. And now we're hearing that is one of the big first-party shows that could be around the corner. Now, again, Microsoft hasn't confirmed it themselves, but we have two sources, so we're going to pretend that it is happening. Now, details on exactly what the event will contain are skinked at this point, but we do know that first party will be involved. Now, according to the Windows Central article that I pulled, it does say to temper expectations because we don't know exactly what's going to be there. But with the incredible momentum that has happened with Bethesda, and both Sony and Nintendo's offering lackluster events earlier this year, Xbox has a golden opportunity. We talked about this yesterday, Pong. My share is a big deal, and it's an entity that Microsoft lost out on, so on all switches. So I want to go to Semi first on this. Semi, we don't know what be in your opinion. What we need to show to keep this party bus going by keeping Microsoft in the mind share of gamers.
Well, like the interesting thing about Xbox is through all these acquisitions and so on and so forth, and game developers and whatnot, they have a lot to talk about, right? And this is one of those opportunities where they can come out and show us some really, really awesome things. However, I think we're probably going to see some heavy hitters, like maybe one or two game trailers of something like really, really big. But then I think we're also going to see smaller things like DLC, maybe a few indie games, something along those lines. I don't think it's going to be. It could be with the amount of content that I truly think that they have to show us. But I think it really is going to be not the hugest show. Right? I think whenever they say temporary expectations, they really do expect to see an Elder Script, a Starfield trailer, followed by like Halo Infinite gameplay, followed by God only knows what, right? Like that type of like stuff is going to come back to back during this event. I would imagine. I would imagine maybe we might see Psychonauts. What's happening with that? Possibly we might see some announcement with Gears of War 5 of some kind, or some previous games announcement. I think it's going to be an exciting show. I just don't think it's going to be a E3 level show. They have plenty of content. Not all of it's going to interest all gamers, but I don't think it's fair or should be expected that we are going to see everything that Xbox has or anything like that. I think we're going to see some interesting stuff, but I don't think it is necessarily going to be everything, a ton of big stuff. I think that they're really trying to build up anticipation and build up hype and build up that mind share, but they're not going to give us the big juicy steak right now. Like what I was saying previously with these last couple of announcements, events. These are like the appetizers. What we're about to get is probably the salad, right? We're not really ready for the really big stuff, at least as of right now. That's my perception. So I'm thinking maybe 2, possibly 3, pretty decent size announcements, and probably a lot of indie games, maybe some new games coming to Game Pass even still, maybe even a potential roadmap of things to expect coming in the future. But I think it's going to be something like that, maybe even similar to the May event that we saw. That a lot of people were kind of somewhat disappointed in because expectations weren't tempered. Maybe something more similar to that.
Yeah. Well, real quick, I know people in the chat saw that we went back to regular just avatars. I don't know what happened with my PC. It was getting bombarded. The RAM was getting raked across the coals. So I'm trying to adjust that as we close out the rest of the show. But you know what? As I do that, I agree with you, Zemi. I think that we should temper expectations. I'm going to be honest with you. You know what I would love to see, and I don't think we're going to see it, but I would love some gameplay from Ninja Theory's Hellblade 2. I think the game's been in development for quite some time. It is a AAA banger. The last time we saw anything from it was, of course, in 2019. It is now 2021. I know that the pandemic really, bottomed out the industry for a lot of big companies. So we don't know what is going to happen. But I will say that I'm interested to see. And again, man, okay. Nintendo had their, again, lackluster. Maybe some people loved it. If you did, great on you. I thought it was okay. Sony's was okay. It did show some more Returnal, which looked good, but certainly not $77 good. I'm going to wait for a sale. I'm not buying that day one. And they showed some other interesting stuff, but now they have an opportunity with everything that has transpired in March for them so far to now end the month on such a high note. Pong, what do you expect? And more importantly, what do you want to see show up?
So here's the deal. I think this is the first of a couple different shows, like I talked about before, right before the E3, whatever that's going to look like. So I think what we are going to see, and I'm going to temper my expectations because I don't expect any giant announcements here. We're not going to see Starfield show up here. I don't think we're going to see anything like that. But as Zemi just talked about, and as we've talked about before, is that they have a ton of content. So what I do expect to see is some of the, we'll call them smaller titles like the Ascent, Scorn, that kind of stuff that was announced last year. I think we do need maybe maybe a release date for a couple of them, but we do need to see some more gameplay from them, maybe some full-fledged trailers. I think that is what we're going to start to see here, because again, these smaller games are going to get lost as we start getting the gigantic announcements. They're going to take over, and that's what happens. And that's why it's so important Microsoft has a roadmap that includes some of these smaller shows to spotlight all these other games that are coming out in the near future. And we know some of them are very close to coming out. We have other games that people aren't even talking about, like MechWarrior 5, Mercenaries, which was announced. They're coming out with it's already out on PC, but they're coming out with an expansion, and they're going to drop it on Xbox as well when that new expansion releases. And so I think those types of games need to have their own spotlight. And this show, I expect to see some of that. I'm not expecting a huge show here, but I definitely think it should be something on par with a Nintendo Direct with Sony's last show that they had too. And I think that those titles need to be brought to the forefront so that people understand that those are also coming out very soon. Now, like I said, I just don't think we're going to see any big stuff that, I think that's all going to be held for E3. But the stuff that is closer or sooner than later, that's the stuff that they need to start hyping up again to make people realize that there are a lot of games coming out underneath the Xbox umbrella, and maybe some of the third-party deals like Warhammer Darktide, that one needs to be highlighted again as we approach summer, because that's due out summertime here. So
what about what I got on the screen? Second Extinction looks
Second Extinction,
awesome. I mean, listen, I got 16 minutes of footage here for you as we close out, and this looks like it again. Left 4 Dead with dinosaurs. I mean, come on.
Right, exactly. And those games can't get lost in the shuffle is what I'm saying at the end of the day. And that's the thing that with as much as Microsoft has, Xbox has coming, that is a real threat that some of the smaller games could get lost. So I think they take advantage of these smaller shows and really start pushing these up to so that they get the attention and everybody goes, oh yeah, that's right, that game's coming out. Like we've been doing, Boom. You've heard it throughout shows, and it's been on all your shows. People are like, they start listing off games and they're like, Oh, that's right. That game's coming out too. I totally forgot because there's just been so much news and so much hype surrounding the big stuff.
Yeah.
These smaller games are what's going to drive Game Pass as well as the big ones.
Well, you
And
know
that's
something,
why.
to your point, and real quick, Kay Asante,
Yeah.
good friend of the show, he says to check the StreamYard status page. I actually did, and they're having some issues, so that's why my footage was slowing down. It wasn't my PC, it's not my network. It turns out that it's something going on with StreamYards, and again, folks, that's beyond my control. For the most part, though, we've been running the show after show after show, full 2+ hours with no issue with the footage. Sorry for the hiccup. Hey, Caitlin, welcome to the show. Hopefully, you're doing well. I think you might know Pong Soul. Welcome. But you know something? To your point, the one thing that you have to tip your cap to Sony about is, because again, I say this all the time, folks, you really can't talk Xbox without talking Sony, and you can't talk Sony without talking Xbox. And what Sony does so well is they release 2 or 3 big bombs, right? And throughout the year are padded by these single and double A experiences that get lifted up into your brain pan of excitement, because you see the 3 big ones, but you also see the small ones, and they all work together, they all gel together. And
Correct.
what you're on to is, if again, this is just complete speculation, if they could somehow put together a September, October, and November that equates to Forza Horizon 5, Starfield, and Halo Infinite, and then on that road to greatness, if you will, you get a Scorn, right? You get an Ascent.
Yep.
You get Stalker 2. You get Second
The Gunk.
Extinction, the
The
Gunk.
Gunk.
You start getting all of these games that have already been confirmed for 2021, and what you have besides the best value in gaming, you have a platform with games that could only be found on said platform. And
Correct.
that is what Sony does. And I think Microsoft definitely took a page out of the book. I mean, what are your thoughts on these smaller games padding up the big ones?
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. I mean, how many big games are you going to really be able to come out consistently every year? You have to have these smaller titles that are going to drive interest to your platform, and games like the ones that you just said for sure will do it. I think one that you might have missed was Psychonauts 2 for me.
Oh my God, yes.
Another one that I think you missed was 12 Minutes.
Yes.
I'm super excited about those.
That's what we were just talking about. There's so much that we lose it, and they got to be brought back.
For sure. Yeah. And those small games, they absolutely matter. And kind of like what Pong was saying, in your E3 like show, those games are going to kind of get, overshadowed, right? By your Halo Infinite and by Starfield and stuff like that. So, these early shows like this are great to have those titles in, and, to also, like I was saying in my previous spiel before this, some people in the chat were saying that they didn't hear me. But, a lot of it's also to kind of just build anticipation for future shows, right? And you kind of, knock both of those things out, with the one show. You show these smaller titles that maybe not everyone's interested in, but still matter. And, you're going to re-excite people for future shows. And you're also going to be giving the attention that these games do deserve.
I agree. I think that what you're something. And again, a lot of these smaller games, I like the idea of putting a year together that gives you some big AAA first party bombs, gives you some second and third party exclusives that, again, maybe you might pass up on, maybe you won't. A game like Second Extinction, I think, is going to be one of those games. I mean, who doesn't want to shoot a Tyrannosaurus in the face, right? I mean, like, who doesn't want to do that? And it's Left 4 Dead with dinosaurs. Basically, you had me at Left 4 Dead. And I think that games like Scorn, which Zemi cannot wait to play. I know, Zemi, you are going to be playing that with these new headphones at midnight in the dark. I cannot wait to see your experience.
Probably not.
Probably not, or he's
Oh.
going to end up with a coronary. I mean, either or. Hopefully, it's not the latter. You just don't.
I don't want to die. I don't. I'm just gonna skip out on that game.
Hey,
Save
Boom! I know,
my heart some
Boom!
trouble.
Boom! I know you're a Zelda fan. Doggy Dog just brought up Tunic. Tunic is doing.
Oh yes,
That's another one. Yeah.
See?
Dude, one
See?
dude is making that game, and if you've seen what Tunic looks like,
Yeah.
it is the Zelda you have always didn't know that you wanted with a fox. It's adorable. It looks colorful. One man is making that again, and I think you're onto something. My excitement, as you can hear through the voice, is not tempered by the fact I'm doing a podcast. I get excited for games. I have been gaming since 1978, folks. I'm an old bastard who still likes games.
Did we miss Crossfire X as well? I think we missed that too.
We missed Crossfire X, which, by the way, Remedy that Remedy that knows how to tell a great story is jumping into the FPS military shooter game. I mean, I cannot wait to see what they're doing over there. I mean, it's going to be one heck of a year for Xbox. And hey, Alito Papa, I know you're in the chat. He just got his headphones. Dr. Mo, good friend of the show, he just got his headphones. I just want everyone to know I'm jealous so hell because I don't have my headphones yet.
So am I.
And somebody in the chat said, check the PlayStation Twitter.
I think he was talking about the Jade.
Okay. Well, yeah. I actually, while you guys were speaking, I actually tweeted that I think that's a big get for Sony. Because I would have loved to see her come to Xbox, to be honest with you. But Sony, threw her company a bag of money and says go crazy, and I think that's what they need. I absolutely think that she's making an exclusive for them. For me personally, I can't wait to see what her vision looks like. I cannot wait to see whatever she pitched Sony. It's probably going to be a very cinematic, story-driven title, and that's what she brings to the table. Hats off to Sony for throwing her the bag of money. That is a big deal. But folks, listen, I want to catch up with some of the super chats. Zemi, you've been dropping them in there. I definitely appreciate it. I missed a few. You know what? The last two I had to reset everything. Zemi, I have Ra89 drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, people keep talking about E3. Wasn't it canceled? Yeah, but still, the physical form of E3 has been canceled. The actual digital event is still happening the same way it happened last June. But I think that now that they have all the kinks out, this is probably going to be more in the lines of the Game Awards 2020, which, again, I understand people have a distaste for Jeff. I hear you. But what he was able to do with his production team, folks, listen, the Game Awards was freaking dope. It was well done. It was well moderated. Lots of big, exciting things happening. And even the awards ceremony was pretty cool. So again, if they can get an E3 like that, Microsoft just pulled off the roundtable. They're learning. I think that they're going to do I think Sony's going to do something. Nintendo's going to do a Treehouse event. It's going to be dope. And I just give you the heads up. I will be live streaming 5 days a week during the 2 weeks of E3. And that's multiple streams per day. When the big things happen, we're going to talk about it. So obviously tune into Double Barrel Gaming and lock it in because it's going to be a busy E3. I have here Viper XT, a generous friend of the show. He drops an outstanding $10 super chat. Wow, dude, thank you for the generosity. He says, we should see Second Extinction since it comes to preview program this spring. Yeah, I'm hoping that spring means like maybe in April. I really want to play this game, as well as Bright Memory Infinite, another one, dude. That's going to be dope. And he's a developer confirmed to be at the Xbox show in March. Oh, okay. So we are definitely going to be getting Bright Memory, and that basically confirms that there is an event this a couple of Fridays from now. Y9 Power, another generous friend of the show, he drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says, remember games like Valve's Kid Chameleon, which was dope. Yeez was awesome. Midnight Resistance. For some reason, I don't remember that one. I missed the feeling when playing those games. I hope that comes back. Well, you know what, dude? I know if you were here earlier, they're dropping Octopath Traveler into Xbox Game Pass. That is a big deal. And that's a old school game that I think that you would definitely dig. We also have here Artie M drops a $2 super chat and says $99 is too much. Make it free 1 year ultimate. I don't know what you mean. $99 is too much.
He's talking about the streaming stick, the
Oh
Xbox
yeah,
streaming
I
stick.
mean, listen, it's again, it's $99 with the stick and a controller. I think that's standard fare. I think that's that's a great value, and maybe they give you Game Pass for a year. I don't know, but it's certainly again worthy of a conversation. Again, we don't even know if the thing is real. To be honest, we don't even know. Dan Lazaro drops an additional $5 super chat. Thanks, Dan. Definitely appreciate that. He says, I bought a Switch a while ago just to play Octopath Traveler. Never bought it because it was $60. Rarely turn on the Switch because of prices. And well, there you go. I mean, I have 67 games for the Switch. I have so many games. It's absurd. But listen, folks, we're here. It's a 90-minute show, and we're right on that mark. Hopefully, you enjoyed it enough to hit the like button. I want to thank all the super chats that have continued to come in. Zemi, did I miss any? Was there any before Rob that I didn't talk about?
I posted those in. There was two, but I posted those in, and you read them.
Oh,
And
excellent!
You're all caught up on super chats right now.
Thank you for the support, my brother. Definitely appreciate that. But listen, folks, again, thank you for tuning in. We had 550 people here. That's a big deal for a small channel like this to have this many views. I mean, I'm humbled beyond words. I do this again for the love of the community. I do this for the love of gaming. Money that comes in is turned back around into upgrading my PC, which we did. I upgraded all my equipment. We occasionally do, giveaways. So thank you for that. Of course, I could not do this without the panel. And obviously, Pong Soul has become a staple in this particular podcast. Pong, we got to have you back here more often, brother. Definitely would love to make
possible?
Listen, I'll say it live on the air. How about joining us every Tuesday? I mean,
we could certainly look into that, Boom, and I would definitely love it. That's amazing. I can't believe you said it on air. I would definitely
right on the air, brother. Listen, if you want in, here's the golden ticket. Look in your mailbox. I just emailed it to you. You're a part of the program. End the story. Because you know something, folks, it's what we do here is we want to be passionate about gaming. We want you to come here and have a good time. We want to talk positively about gaming, specifically Xbox, because this is an Xbox show. I mean, we will put take Phil and them to task if they make a mistake. I mean, we don't harp on it, but we definitely will ask questions. And if you want that kind of content, man, tune in every Tuesday. You'll be seeing obviously myself, Zemi Games, and now the confirmed Pong Soul being added to the program each and every Tuesday, making the Xbox 101 program one of the best on Tuesdays. So let's get to the outros, and we'll start with our special guest and now official panel member, Pong Soul. What's up, dude? Welcome to the team. And where could people reach out to you on social media, and what other shows are you a part of?
Whoa! Well, I'm just still stunned here. Boom! Thank you very much, sir. I'm glad to be a part of the team. I appreciate you so much for what you've done and what you do for this community. So, I mean, my heart goes. Thank you. Love this show. Love everything you're doing here. You can find me at Pong Soul everywhere, on Twitter, on Xbox. Follow me and follow you back. No problems there. Chat, you guys are absolutely amazing, by the way. I got to give a shout out. I know you already do, Boom, but man, you guys are awesome. I love seeing everybody here each and every day. And we can't do what we do without you, as Boom already said. Otherwise, you can find me on Xbox Ultimate on Friday nights. That starts at 9 p.m. Eastern. That's with Mav, aka Fun Speculation, his wife Caitlin. Both of them were in the chat today. Love you guys. And along with 3-Bit and Psychonauts 8 just got added, and we hope that the return of Assassin Lupa at some point. So look forward to that. And then obviously Saturday nights, I am on the Shop podcast with PTK Blam, who just celebrated his 200th episode. Fuzzy Belvedere, who is also in the chat. What's going on, brother? And Centurion and Stagorilla, and that starts at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Well, I mean, man, you're busy, so I almost feel bad adding you to the show, simply because obviously, you are again one of the. Here's some Ascent gameplay, folks. I mean, if this doesn't excite you, this is cyberpunk related. It is what they're doing. This, by the way, again, I don't want to go too off topic because the show is ending. This was made by 14 people. 14 developers made this game, and I'm telling you right now, this is real early footage that I was able to pull. You got to see what it looks like now. My God, this is going to be, it's just a 4-player co-op. Again, right up Xbox console alley, because it is the multiplayer box on top of the shooter box, and now we're gonna have cyberpunk-esque meets Diablo. What more could you possibly want? But yeah, dude, great to have you in this community. I really mean that you are of such an incredible voice. I'm happy to have you join us. Honestly, it's a big deal for me because this is a new show. Zemi and I were like, yeah, we're gonna do a limited run. We don't think it's gonna hit with everyone, and it turns out that people really dig it. So, welcome to the team. Thank you for joining us. Zemi Games, you got a lot going on besides a PlayStation 5, besides working your side gig, besides being just an incredible panel member on this show and, of course, the Xbox Factor podcast on Thursdays. You run a little site, and I say that, and I shouldn't even say that. He runs a gaming site that is not only incredible, not only does it have some new voices in the community as writers, this is a site that takes gaming journalism to its core, and he does it in the way that we expect. It's done with class, it's done precision, and it's called the constantgamer.com. Tell everyone about that, Zemi.
Yeah, absolutely. So the constantgamer.com is basically a website like IGN, like Kotaku, like GameSpot, all those sites. But the biggest difference is that we're more objective and we're more fact focused, right? And a lot of these sites, you'll read an article and embedded in with the facts there are also the author's opinions, and usually those opinions are to try to sway you to believe the way that they want you to believe, right? And Constant Gamer is completely different in that sense. We're not like that. We give you exactly just what you're after, the actual facts of what is occurring and in gaming news, and really nothing beyond that. We might put our opinion explicitly labeled as your opinion down at the bottom of the article, but it's a huge difference. In addition to that more objective reporting for gaming news and just different things happening in the industry, we also do game reviews, and we have a community section where we post quizzes, and a lot of new and exciting announcements will be coming here in the next couple of weeks. So if you haven't checked it out, definitely go to constantgamer.com, check out some of our articles, see if there's anything that you like, see if you like our more objective reporting, and if you do, follow us, check out the site relatively often. And if you're interested in being a part of constantgamer.com and writing those objective factual articles that we really like the old school gaming reporting that we really don't see very often anymore, just click on the contact us button and then click on the button that says join the team, fill out a short little application, and I will definitely be in touch to getting you on the writing team, man. But yeah, boom, this has been an amazing show. But now I have a dilemma. Do I go and take a nap, or do I start Detroit Become Human? Question mark. I don't know.
You know what? I mean, you can always sleep when you're dead, right? That's what they say. So, yeah. I mean, why not go and start? Listen, again, I know this is an Xbox show. I actually think Detroit Become Human, folks. Remember, you heard it here on the Xbox One and One. That is coming. And not only is it going to be release on the Xbox, it's day one in Game Pass. I'm not saying I heard anything. I'm saying that expect Detroit Become Human, a PlayStation exclusive, coming over, dropping into Game Pass day one. Take it to the bank. We'll revisit this when it happens. And of course, I want flowers and accolades thrown my way. That's all I'm going to say about it. But yeah, it's one of their best work. It is so good, and it's so incredible.
Quantum Dream, just them, like Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, like they're just a fantastic developer.
They tell incredible stories.
Absolutely.
Very, very powerful stories. But listen, folks, thank you so much for being here. Again, please hit the like button on your way out. Definitely subscribe if you didn't. And of course, I'm going to close out the show with something that's
one more super chat.
Oh, yes. Okay, we did have one more super chat. And it comes, oh, wow, Paul Grant. Paul, thank you so much for the super chat of $2. But it's what you said that's even more impressive. He says, "You're killing it with all the content, Boom." Well, thank you for that, dude. I'm glad that you are enjoying it, and thank you for the support. But of course, I'll close out the show with something that's important to me. One day it'll be important to you. I can tell you that. And it's something that my dad taught us when we were kids, and I've lived with it ever since. He said, "Son, treat others how you want to be treated, and also it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, and I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day." So take care, everyone, and we'll see you next week on the newest episode of Xbox One-on-One.